wailing of women.
One word, and I hit you again.
I'm telling Mother.
Hey, welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for Tomb Raider, the Netflix animated series that was so loved when the first season came out. I've got jokes, yes, I know. Anyway, we're here with the second season. I'm here to say, is it worth jumping back into this? Let's talk about it. So there's 8 episodes. They're about 30 minutes apiece, depending on the episode. And this time round, Laura is, I guess she's allowing herself to grow a little bit as a person because she is using her team for her mission, which is to stop someone from stealing a bunch of artifacts and using them for, all the bad things in the world. Without going into spoilers, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm not going to do spoilers, but suffice to say, there's a collection of masks that hold various different powers, and we'll be seeing Lara and her sister and her team jet-setting across the world to try and stop the big bad, the MacGuffin big bad that they have this time round, because they want to reshape the world in their own image, and that is kind of the MacGuffin story. Now, I will say that they did listen to some of the complaints that a lot of people had about the shape of Lara, and she's much more trimmed down this time round. She looks much more like the character from the games that we've had, the new trilogy, and she moves and attacks and is swift like that character. There's even a line of dialogue in the season which jokes at her being in a different shape. So I guess they took to heart a lot of some of those comments. This isn't, I don't even like the word woke, but a lot of people thought the first season was woke. This one just focuses on what makes Lara Croft, and then doubles down on the supernatural elements that we got. So there's a lot of magic, voodoo magic, actual elemental magic, all of that being flown about, and it's showcased beautifully. Like, there's some wonderful action sequences that you get to see. It's not fast cutting. There is some fast cut edits, but when it is fast, it's wide enough for you to see what's happening on screen. So you get to see Lara, doing flips and spinnies and all that kind of fun stuff that Lara Croft does with her guns, makeshift adventure as she uses the environment to escape or attack. So Lara has to fight people that are just as good as her, or if not better. That always makes for interesting story. But here we really seem to center on character masks, the traditions, the culture of each of them, and then Lara's heritage from her family, which means they basically can change up with who she is now. So there's a growth, like I mentioned at the beginning, of Lara's character. There's a growth with her friendship, allowing herself to allow others to help, that she isn't the only one to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders. And when people do that, they often are in a little echo chamber, and that's kind of showcased as the theme very well here. But the supernatural fantasy elements, the action, and the story, the pacing all runs really quickly in those 8 episodes. And it is a contained story, but they're hinting at more to come. So they kind of set it up for a continuation of a big bad MacGuffin that Lara needs to put her heads against. So I think we're probably going to get another season because of the way they left it, and because of taking on board some of the complaints from season 1. I didn't mind season 1. I understand that some guys don't like chunky women, like they don't like chunky thighs, and didn't think Lara could do those things because she was slightly chunky. I'm a little bit disappointed that they rejigged her, but she definitely looks much more like akin to the games. Weapons, color palette, all of that, and voice acting, I think they've done a fantastic job. There's no woke agenda splashed in here. It's just people of various different cultures and colors, beliefs, that is all displayed, but that doesn't take center stage. It's the story of how is Lara going to save those that she cares about, and how is Lara going to return some artifacts. And I think because they've taken that as center stage, and all the other thing is if and buts, put in the story to help flesh it out, backgrounds between what her father was, the type of archaeologist he was, to the one she's going to change up, how she's going to be, change a different heritage. So all of that is like just adding a little bit into the quiver, make it a really full, vibrant, interesting adventure, but sticking to the law of what we know and how Lara is. So I feel a little bit sad because I think a lot of people are going to hate watch this, and then there's going to be those that won't watch it because they were so upset with how it looked like in the first season that they miss out on a really fun animated sequences that are just bonkers and big as you would expect it to be, but always grounded the way that Lara Croft was in the games. So all these supernatural elements and things happening, Lara still has to do a backflip to avoid a spear, or she will get sliced up or shot. All of those things will still happen to her. So even though she's dealing with larger than life things, big wielding end, Pandora's box, that sort of stuff, she is still Lara Croft at the end of the day, and I think they nailed that aesthetic well. Those themes fit in very well with the character that we now have showcased in this animated series. So I definitely recommend watching this. I'm going to give it 4 Nicolas Cages out of 5. I think it's stronger than the first season, and I'm looking forward to what they do with the rest. Pacing is great, character arcs are good, not a lot of backstory given to any other of the characters, but you will recognize them from the first season and from the games, and I think the team is now strong. They kind of fit and work really well together. I like the change up in tone. We go jet setting around the world, and then we also have a bit of a heist episode, a bit of an Ocean's 11. I think that mix of changing up keeps it fresh, and it comes back down to like episode 7 and 8 as a big finale, big boss battle, if that makes sense. So thanks so much for checking out this review. Do let me know if you are now happy with this, or you're just going, or you hate watching, or you're like, nah, this is Netflix woke crap agenda. All opinions are valid in the comments. I'm not deleting any. It's, you know, speak your mind. I'm happy to talk to you in the comments, but for me, I thought this was a big win. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.